Hello, I'm M.K. Davis. I want to talk a little bit about the Patterson film, and particularly one aspect of it, and that would be what people call the background. One reason why I think it's important to discuss this is because people, ever since I've been looking at this film, people have remarked about the fall colors in the film. But when you look at the shadows on the ground of the different subjects, it doesn't appear to be fall. So what are we looking at when we look at those colors in the background? Well, let's take a look. Here's one copy of the film right here. Let me just move it out here. This is a slide from the 1964 flood. See the background, how red it is? That's pretty red. This is actually not on the same piece of film that that contains the creature. This comes before. And you know, you can add or take away, you know, in the editing room. But nevertheless, if you notice, it stops right here, makes a line across. In 1964, they had this tremendous flood, 500-year flood, and the water got way up on the side of the mountains. It came through here, and it was wreaking havoc and moving logs and piling them up and all of that stuff. And there had been no Sasquatch evidence in there until 1967. In 1967, they began to find tracks, and that's when Roger Patterson was called by Al Hodson and told that there were tracks down there, and he came. Now, this is likely is Bluff Creek, but you really can't tell if that's fall colors or not. This is the reason why. I'll show you. Let me shrink it back down. Okay. Let me go back over here. How I managed to lose it, I don't know. But lo and behold, I did. Here it is. I can find it again. Hold it. We would get a better program to run it.
It'll certainly not, madam. We would never open a ladies' lingerie case.
This is from Sasquatch Odyssey, a film by Peter von Puttkamer. And in this film, he featured four horsemen of Bigfootery. And in doing so, he used a copy that was quite a bit better. And that copy was, I believe, John Green's.
Get the opportunity to cast.
And then he leaned on their thumb.
Olive Canyon, and then later.
Really one of the places that is just sort of famous.
That's Henry Franzoni, Bigfooter that we lost in recent years, and
incidents too that have taken place there since 1920.
Very much missed.
The bone hunt is the first ever of its kind, I believe. Nobody's actually gone out looking for bones before. This whole area was a hotbed of Bigfoot sightings and incidences prior to the time that the mountain blew. So we're hoping some of them got cooked and buried.
That's Ray Crow, another person we lost in recent years. I believe it was 2015. Geologist and a very instrumental person in collecting Bigfoot data.
What is that?
It's a Bigfoot face. There's two eyes.
Let's move on down. All right, here we go. This is that better copy John Green had. The color is much more, the fidelity is much better. If you look, you'll see you're not seeing red up on the hillside. You're not seeing red, you're seeing dead, where the 1964 flood killed all the vegetation. Anywhere that water was actually covering the vegetation. Let's just watch it here.
You don't find Bigfoot, Bigfoot finds you. Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin actually intended to film a Sasquatch when they went in and filmed what is purported to be a Sasquatch. But that seems to be the only example of it ever out of, 3 to 4 to 5,000 different sighting reports.
People say if they...
Let me move on past Renee. That's Renee DeHenden, also passed away. All right, let's start again.
Renee and I had been down to Bluff Creek several weeks earlier and seen a lot of tracks there. At that time, Roger...
This is not that time. This is not several weeks earlier. This is the following June.
Was planning to make a movie on this subject, so they were riding up and down.
Now here is that same piece of film, and look at the color in the background. It's no longer red.
Down the creek beds looking for tracks. Then they came around the bend and saw this creature down near the water. And at that point, Roger's horse reared.
Let's just kind of move along here. Take a look at the background. You see where it formerly was red, it's not red here in this copy. It's dead. This is on the hill behind the creature. All of that's dead. Dead. Got a little bit of green coming back right in here. A little bit around in here. After, 3 years. Dead. That water was high now. It did a lot of damage. A lot of the hills slid. A lot of the cliffs fell. Trees were everywhere.
In my opinion, the Patterson film is real.
This all is not red. Not red, but dead.
It looked exactly like what people have been describing. It seemed perfectly familiar to me when I first...
That explains the shadows.
Footprints indicating a far greater weight than a human could possibly carry and walk like that.
He's 100% correct.
The best special effects people in Hollywood.
It's not the size of the foot, it's the weight of the subject and how far down it goes into that substrate. A human does not have enough weight on his frame, can't contain enough weight. A modern man cannot contain that much weight on his frame.
Would have never been able to produce anything that looks anywhere near as realistic. So if you're going to argue that it's a fake, I mean, how was it faked? Who did it? Where did the money come from? One thing that even those who claim it's a fake have had to agree on is that it would be a very expensive and sophisticated suit would be required.
I'll show you some things. Let me go back and reduce this and go back over here. I think I have it over here. Let's see here. All right, these are some paper images that were taken off of the film, and they were on sale at Roger Patterson's live events. So it's back pretty close to the time of the filming. This is black and white here. Okay, I might have to pick one at a time here. All right, let's take a look at this. What do you see here? Red ink and somebody's palm print. So how do you make something that's dead and brown become red and fall colors? Accidents happen. There's some more right there. A little spill. You don't throw a good picture away because you spilled ink on it, do you? Well, maybe you should. Anyway, let's go on. We'll look some more. 23, 43, 10. There's a little bit of a fingerprint or palm print right here on this one, right in there. Well, does that mean that the film was a hoax? No, it don't. It just means that they have a story, and they want it to, the film to match the story. You see, dead, not red. It only becomes red later, after some work. These are really high quality frames. The yellow, paper tends to yellow. Plastic tends to fade a little bit, tinted pink or red. This does what they all do. It yellowed out. Platin image it can't be quite as sharp as a transmission image because light passes through the dyes, hits the paper, and goes back through the dyes. It's been through the dyes twice before you see it. Do you see the footprints right in here in the sand? I'll show you. All right, just take a look at these footprints. Let me find them again. Get them bigger. I see them. Do you see them? There they are. My goodness. Just needed a little help. This was a crossover step. In other words, the subject stepped this way with the right foot and then changed, pivoted, and came and planted the left foot over here, going this way. So there was a complete change of direction right here where this step took place. One here and one right here. And we'll go back out. Try to move it to the center. There we go. Perfect match. But like John Green said, it's the depth. I mean, they got some really big tracks, and you can say, well, I'm just astonished at these tracks, but it's more astonishing to see how deep they go in this substrate. This is not sand like you'd find at the beach. It's not feldspar and quartz and all of that roll out from under your foot. This is platelets. It's shale sand, and they each kind of overlap each other flat, and they bind up. And they don't let you sink very much. And if you see something deep, I've seen tracks down there at Bluff Creek that were 4 inches deep that I could not put a dent in the ground. So John Green was right, and he was familiar with it. He knew that was the more meaningful challenge, was to challenge somebody to make a track that deep. He offered $120,000 or something like that of his own money to anybody who can walk across that same sandbar and make tracks that deep. No one collected. All right, well, let's go back. That's that dead material. 1964, it died. Took it 3 years to even start to grow back. I'm going to leave it right there. You know, as to why they told their story the way they did. Yes, that's for you to think about. I thank you for your time.